2025 is a year full of surprises, and if you thought the scope for mobile gaming isn't getting any bigger than it already is, you're gonna be in for a surprise. I mean, some of the longest awaited games of recent memory just made their way out, and for that reason and more, we've decided to round up a list of some of the greatest you should definitely have in mind. So this has been a while, but you can finally go ahead and give it a try yourself. The Hidden Ones is kicking off a pre-alpha test from today to March 8th, and it's your shot to experience it before the game launches later on in the year. See, the playtest here features story mode with chapter 3, a couple of dual modes, 1-on-1 and 3 versus 3, and most characters are available to try, plus you can unlock more as you progress. The Hidden Ones is actually based on the Hitori no Shira, the Outcast manga. It's an action RPG fighting game, and right now one of the best mobile games of the year. Darkest Days is gearing up for its global test as well, and it's shaping to be a wild ride. In fact, it's already out for creator testers, and the game's open world is quite massive as well. You're gonna be fighting against zombies and other humans, all while building shelters and surviving all the mayhem. The realistic rendering and vehicle combat here will make you feel like you're right in the middle of it. Plus, if solo survival ain't enough, you can jump into multiplayer mode and team up with friends. It's a free-to-play game, and the global test is live now through March 3rd and coming out fully on March 27 on Android and iOS. With that being said, Stray Nova is an action-packed tactical shooter that basically mixes strategy with some pure creativity. I mean, the game introduces a mechanic where you can actually shift between 3D and 2D forms, sticking to walls, or gliding across the map like a pro. And there's over 15 characters, each bringing something fresh on over 15 different maps that you can play through. So the gameplay never gets stale. The game's available now through an alpha on mobile and fully on PC, and it's got all the right moves. If you're a fan of tactical shooters, you're gonna love it. Y'all remember Project Mugen, NetEase and Studio Naked Brain's anime IP? Well, this one's going now by the name Ananta, and it's officially out in the open with its first full trailer, blending Grand Theft Auto vibes with a heavy dose of anime. Think open world, swinging around cities like the Spider-Man as well, and an anime version of Grand Theft Auto, or all in all just a wild mix of humor, action, and adventure. Except there is no set release date for the game just yet, but it's gonna be a fully free-to-play game, though no words yet on whether there's gonna be gacha or microtransactions are gonna be involved or not. You can already pre-register the game on TapTap. It's coming to Android and iOS and PCs pretty soon. Coming up behind that at number 5, we've got Persona 5 The Phantom X, which takes the core of Persona 5 and delivers it right into your mobile. You're stepping into a new Phantom Thief role in Tokyo, exploring the familiar spots while attending school and infiltrating palaces. In fact, this game keeps that iconic turn-based combat with a twist, new personas, abilities, and a gacha system to spice things up. In fact, the social simulations are still there, so you're gonna be forming bonds, raising stats, and make decisions that impact the story. In a way, it nails the Persona vibe with its stylish visuals and soundtrack, but it's all mobile optimized, meaning you get the best of the original now in your pocket.
True greatness comes not from power, but from purpose.
Game of Thrones Kingsroad just dropped the new trailer, and it's looking mighty fine. Seriously, if you're a fan of the Game of Thrones, you just love the intense multiplayer battles, this one might be worth checking out if you haven't already. Not to mention, this game's story takes you on a brand new journey in Westeros, which sounds like a solid mix of action and lore. You've got that classic Game of Thrones political intrigue vibe, but now with full-on character customization and a fresh storyline. There's a lot of potential here, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds myself. If you forgot Dredge, well, you're in for a treat because this indie gem, which took 2023 by storm as a standalone indie game, is finally coming out today. If you missed it, it's like the perfect mix of relaxing and dark, creepy vibes. It's like a fiction RPG in total, but with some seriously dark twists. In fact, you start off sailing around in the game, catching fish, collecting trinkets and stuff. Everything's cool by the day. Once the night hits, things get super intense. The fog rolls in and suddenly it's not just fish that you're gonna be dealing with, you'll see. If you're into exploration with a side of subtle horror, you've got to try this one today.
Let there be light!
If you missed it here, Fate Trigger is one of the finest games hitting the mobile scene, and it's been already in the making for over 2 years. It's an action hero shooter blending tactical depth with real-time combat, in which you manage a team of characters that are each equipped with distinct skills for battles, and there's a good mix of first-person and third-person perspectives with a fast combat that feels both fluid and strategic. That's the scope. Fate Trigger emphasizes teamwork and quick decision making, and ensuring every battle is a challenge. It's a highly anticipated title as of this moment, and developers have promised to make it out by the end of spring. Coming up behind that at number 9, we've got A Tool, I think, which is this pretty unique blend of documentary and experimental gameplay. Arriving on Android later on this year. Besides, it's after a successful release over 3 years ago. In fact, this game is an award-winning interactive documentary about this river valley in Argentina with the same name, A Tool. In this game, the player takes on an informative journey through a surreal interpretation of the river's amazing landscapes. A minimalistic art style adds to the experience. I think it makes a perfect fusion of education and exploration, so just keep it in mind for now.
Seguía su curso natural, la desviamos, secamos parte de los humedales y quitamos el agua de esas zonas naturales. Es un impacto negativo.
El ser humano estamos como conectados con el río, somos parte del río.
Once Human is finally opening up its pre-registrations campaign for mobile, and it's looking like it's going to be worth that wait. NetEase's supernatural survival RPG, in case you missed it, is definitely setting the stage for a huge launch this April, and they're not even holding back with the rewards. If you're into open world survival with a supernatural twist, Once Human looks like it's bringing the heat for sure. It's kind of surprising it took this long for Once Human to land on mobile, specifically given how successful the company's been with its other releases. If you're into a mix of hunting, exploration, and survival, this is basically a must-play. It's a big game, it's about 20 gigabytes in size. Coming up behind that at number 11, we've got Sunset Hills. It's this point-and-click adventure where you're playing as a dog who's also this author. Sounds cute, right? Well, don't let this cozy Victorian-era vibe fool you, because there's a deeper story about war and friendship that's hidden under the surface of the game. You're solving puzzles, jumping on trains, and even whipping up some baked goods as you piece together the character's past. The dog's called Nico. The art style is quite warm and fuzzy, but the story hits harder than you'd expect. Plus, it's got controller support, and if you like, you can go ahead and pre-register the game on Android and iOS. This one's definitely worth checking out, at least.
Living in a very dangerous world.
Even though we mentioned it before, Bendy Lone Wolf is coming to mobile in a month, and it's just the latest spin on the Ink Machine franchise, except this time you're gonna be stepping into the shoes or paws of Boris the Wolf himself. The gameplay, as you can see, is top-down. It's an asymmetric survival horror game, and judging by the reveal trailer, it's just packed with that classic charm we all love about Joey Drew Studios' previous iterations. If you enjoyed Boris and the dark survival game, this looks like it's building on that, possibly even taking it to the next level. Whether it's a fresh twist or an expanded version of the dark survival, this game is shaping up to be another spooky adventure. Does any of you here remember Songs of Conquest, the strategy game that caught our attention just months ago, or in 2024 late? Well, it's finally coming to mobile, and the wait is almost over. After a solid run on PC, it's set to hit iOS and Android on March 13, and it'll cost you $12, as opposed to its original $50. So, if you're hyped as I am or you've never played the game, you can go ahead and pre-order it now. This one really channeled the 90s strategy vibes, and if you're a fan of turn-based combat, it'll hit all the right notes and more. The game promises a deep tactical experience with a mix of magic, strategy, and army customization. There's a lot to dig in. If you like the Heroes of Might and Magic, you're probably gonna love this one. On the lesser mentioned side of things, Godzilla x Kong Titan Chasers is finally here on Android and iOS, and if you're into massive creatures and strategic battles, this one's a solid pick. This game mixes turn-based RPG action with 4X strategy, where you'll build up a base on this mysterious Siren Islands while researching the island's wildlife itself. Obviously, Godzilla and Kong make an appearance as well, but you'll also encounter other iconic monsters like the Skull Crawlers and more. This game's got a campaign where you can actually see these monsters go head to head, adding to the chaos. It's not the most innovative mix of genres, obviously, but it definitely nails that kaiju experience and much more. Moving on to number 15, we've got Shadowverse: Worlds Beyond. In fact, this sequel takes everything fans love about the original and cranks it up a notch. Not to mention, this has been in the making for mobile for over 5 years. The deck building basics are still here, but new mechanics like Super Evolution bring some serious strategy to the table. Now you can super evolve your followers or even bigger game-changing abilities. Outside the card battles, Worlds Beyond here introduces a virtual world where players can roam, hang out in 3D space, and join minigames. This game's set to raise the bar for the genre when it drops in 2025.
Behold my power!
Lara Croft is back as well, and this time she's bringing her dungeon exploring, trap dodging, and undead fighting antics to mobile. In fact, it's available now on Android and iOS as of today, officially. Guardian of Light isn't your typical Tomb Raider game. Obviously this one's an asymmetric action platformer with a lot of puzzles, swamps, and all sorts of dangers that we've been dealing with in another form. You're gonna be against a god of death, but it's no big deal because the touchscreen controls are fully customizable, and if that's not your thing, gamepad support has you covered for sure. It's a premium purchase at $10, but if you're into fast-paced platforming and some clever puzzles, this one's worth keeping on your radar. Moving on to number 17, it's Quails and Cats of Calico, which is a mobile game based on the popular board game Calico, which you can actually play solo or compete online with others. You're gonna be solving puzzles by piecing together these colorful quill patterns. There's also story mode that will definitely pay off in the long run as well. You can even customize the cats with outfits, which, not gonna lie, is one of the best parts, and the game itself was pretty simple. It's creative and cozy and a solid pack of puzzles for newcomers and the fans. Quails and Cats of Calico is available in pre-registration at the moment, with the full game coming out in less than a month. Windbreaker is officially getting its first game adaptation, Windbreaker: Heroic Tale of the Delinquents, which has been over a year since announcement, but is finally coming out on March 31st, not only to Android and iOS, but also Switch, PCs, and even consoles. That, alongside the second season of the anime itself. So the thing is, this game is actually based off the popular series that follows a high schooler striving to become the strongest while navigating the chaos of his new school. And the game is basically a mix of action and emotional storytelling, basically bringing the anime to life for its sequel, with much more quality of life improvements. It's coming out March 31st. Conquest is finally going mobile this winter after killing it on PC, PlayStation, and Switch. It's coming to iOS and Android. This is a deck-building RPG with D&D vibes, where you build a team of heroes, level them up, and battle your way through a dark world full of monsters. I think the cool part is that the Realm mode is free, which is its initial story. You can dive right in, but the full game unlocks with one purchase. If you're into strategy, roguelike combat with tons of replay value, this might be your jam. With that being said, at number 20, Sonic Rumble is Angry Birds developers' first mix with the Sonic universe, and if you missed it here before, it's available in pre-registrations on Android and iOS, and it's coming out fully within March. Sonic Rumble, in fact, is a 32-player battle royale game that has Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and even Metal Sonic all duking it all out in a fast, obstacle-filled, fun rounds and formula. It's definitely a cool blend of Fall Guys vibes with all the familiar Sonic series elements. Pre-registrations get you some rewards today, while it already offers an engaging pack of free stuff as well. On the other hand, Be Brave Barb is shaping up to be the cutest platformer you've ever known. You've possibly never known you need it. This game is developed by the same team who made all the famous Dadish games. Their new project here is a blend of gravity-based challenges and self-confidence building. And on March 12, Barb will be bouncing onto iOS, Android, Steam, and even the Nintendo Switch, offering this very unique adventure through over 100 different levels of self-discovery. And for the first time, this will not be a free-to-play game. You can grab it for free on mobile though with ads, or on consoles and PC it'll cost you about $15. Honestly, it looks like it's gonna be a perfect pick-me-up kind of game.
A new path to my pupils. They will listen.
As Far as the Eye is actually a hex-scrolling 4X city builder, where you're basically guiding a tribe across a fantasy world on the back of a massive creature. Sounds wild, right? Well, the whole point here is to keep moving, managing resources and avoiding this huge wave that's constantly just chasing you down. You're not dealing with enemies here, but instead it's more about making tough decisions and navigating through random events that pop up along the way. It's got a roguelike system too, so no two runs are gonna be the same, and if you mess up, you just jump right back and for another try. If strategy games are your jam, this one's worth at least a look.
Now is the perfect time to jump into the world of mecha games.
And last but not least, well, this has been in the works for years, but Chronicle is gearing up to be a pretty exciting ride, especially if you're into mech combat. As you picture a post-apocalyptic world with these mech girls fighting on your behalf, the visuals really pop with the slick futuristic designs, and the battles look really insane as well. There's a lot of sci-fi drama going on, with potential struggles and this whole end-of-the-world vibe going on. If you're into gacha games, this one's got you covered with rewards like premium currency and special weapons for pre-registering. It's a free-to-play game and drops March 13 on mobile as well.